What's up guys, AT here. Today I'm going to show you how to import data from Excel to DataGridView in C# using Visual Studio 2019. So create the project and name it whatever you want and save it wherever you want. Just make sure it's Windows Form Applications .NET Framework. Now click on create and wait till it loads the application for you. Okay, I'm not gonna do any UI design here, but I'll have the full application in my GitHub account and I will leave the link down in the description below so you can access it whenever you want. Now let's put some stuff in our form like the data grid view and some buttons and a label. Now the two buttons. I'm going to name the buttons whatever. You can name them whatever you want. Just make something exclusive that you can remember because it's important. So let's create a label here. This label actually stores the path to the Excel file, and in this case we don't need any variables to store the path into that, and we can show to the UI that this is the path. Now let's get to the main stuff. Let's create an OpenDialog procedure to help us find our Excel file in the computer. This part of the code, when you're using the when you're using this type of coding, you actually told the compiler that the variables that I use are actually limited to this part, and when you got out of here, just delete them and discard them away from the memory. Let's do some cleanup here and run the application to see if it works or not. So for the next part, we're going to add some references to our application, which are not available in Visual Studio, so we need to download it from NuGet Manager, which is Microsoft.Interop Services, which in this case is Microsoft.Office.Interop.Excel. Here we create some instances of the main application and the workbook and the worksheet and the range of the Excel file that we want. Now for the try catch to catch some errors. So we now assign the Excel file that we wanted to the instances that we created. So let's change the name of the DataGridView into something more particular that we can relate to in the code easier. So now we add columns to the DataGridView. We can do this automatically or we can do this manually, but I prefer automatically. Now we loop through the rows in the Excel file to get numbers of them first and to add them to the DataGridView. Make sure to type in .text because if you don't, this will happen. In case you didn't notice, this actually is the hardest way to import data from Excel to DataGridView because you need to count the number of columns and you need to add them manually, not the columns themselves, but the data manually from the Excel to the DataGridView. Make sure to type in these two lines as well because these two lines actually closes the Excel application and discards it from the memory. Now let's run again and let's see what happens. So we ran into an error. The problem was that the main application of the Excel was open, so I closed it and I rerun the application to see if it works or not. One final tip, if you want to have an index number counting the lines of the Excel file that imports to your DataGridView, you can do this.